Hello everyone and welcome back to another round of Tuesday Night Legacy. Tonight we've got Goblin Food Chain versus Doomsday. On the left you have myself playing Goblin Food Chain. This is a deck that I've played on the channel before. This is an aggro deck that also has a combo finish in it. Now the last time I played this on the channel it was a non-deterministic finish, trying to play a bunch of Muxus Goblin Grandees off of a food chain, kind of building your way up from a Goblin Matron into a Goblin Ringleader and hoping that you're hitting the right goblins, making sure that you get to put all of these guys into play and then just turn it sideways with a Muxus or kill your opponent with a Sling-gang Lieutenant. But nowadays I decided to throw in a couple conspicuous snoop with the Boggart Harbinger, and once you have both a Harbinger and a Snoop in play, you can put Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker on top of your deck. As long as the Snoop is not affected by Summoning Sickness, you can copy the Kiki-Jiki ability as many times as you want, making infinite copies of Snoop, using the last copy to copy the Boggart Harbinger and going and getting the Sling-gang Lieutenant. So it's more of a quick and determined victory in that route instead of just flipping cards off the top of your library with the Muxus. This all takes a little bit of time to set up though, making sure that you at least have 3 mana to get that food chain in play, whereas the other side of the board is playing Doomsday. And we have Dylan as the pilot here. Doomsday, of course, is the all-in combo deck that uses this card, Doomsday, to make a pile of 5 cards from the deck and hopefully win either that turn or the next turn with Thassa's Oracle, since Thassa's Oracle basically says if you got no cards left in your deck and you play this, you win the game. Now, of course, Dylan has a bunch of different ways making this happen. There are all kinds of different piles, and there are even guides online that you can look up to your perfect different 5-card piles depending on the scenario that you are in. Sometimes you need to cycle with a Street Wraith to get rid of a couple extra cards. Sometimes you need to go get a Lion's Eye Diamond to be able to get some extra mana so that maybe you can either play an Ideas Unbound to draw the rest of the pile, or to have a deep analysis into your graveyard so that you can flash it back by paying 2 and paying 3 life, and usually it finishes off by casting a Lotus Petal into a Thassa's Oracle, and hopefully the land that you have in play is your Cavern of Souls that's going to make it uncounterable. So there are a lot of different piles that you can build in order to secure your victory in the game. The other things in this deck that are not dedicated to the win condition is just a couple of Thoughtseizes and then a bunch of Ponders, Brainstorms, and Forces. So enough about the decks, let's see how they interact with each other. Starting on the play is myself playing that Wooded Foothills and passing. We see Dylan playing his own fetch land, just a Bloodstained Mire. Going for the fetch. Good thing Dylan doesn't run a Stifle here, or I would have played right into it. Checking that giant deck. It is actually a triple sleeve deck. It is not running Yorion. We see a Taiga coming into play here, tapping for either green or red. And into an Ancient Tomb with a Food Chain. Trying to get down that super early food chain, gets denied by Dylan, decides to use his Force of Will. So if Dylan had to let me go off there with the food chain and the Ancient Tomb, there is a chance I had a Fury in my hand that would have gotten me directly to 6 mana. Could have cast a Muxus on turn 2. But Dylan being the smart play here. Let's see what the hand was. There was a Fury. So that could have turned into a turn 2 Goblin Ringleader. Dylan taking a look at what I have here. The Munitions Expert, not super relevant in this matchup. Deciding to get rid of the Goblin Ringleader. Makes my hand pretty impotent at this point. Just play a Cavern of Souls and passing turn. Naming goblins. Seeing a Brainstorm on Dylan's side. Looks like he's got a lot more forces, and he does have the Doomsday. Maybe he doesn't have the Dark Ritual to get him to the 3 black mana. Trying to decide what we're going to do with this Blood Crypt here. Seeing a Noble Hierarch. Not huge. We don't know what this one card is, though, in my hand. And each turn that we go beyond is just setting Dylan up for more success. He draws his one of Cavern of Souls, naming Wizard. I don't know if it particularly matters. I think the Thassa's Oracle is the only creature of relevance. Okay, so here is the Muxus. So we're seeing Muxus come into play here. A bunch of goblins, 4 goblins. 2 lands go back to the bottom. Get a trigger off of the Goblin Matron and the Sling-gang Lieutenant, which is probably going to help here. Runevelt Horde Master also giving the team +1/+1 across the board. Deciding what I'm going to get off of this Matron here. Deciding on a Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker. Just for extra assurances to make sure that next turn can cast that. Probably copy a Sling-gang or copy Goblin Matron. Decide for attacks, and that's going to be the game. Sling-gang Lieutenant being actually an extremely good creature in this matchup, since Doomsday says that you have to pay half of your life rounded down. So if you are on the path of the Street Wraith, cycling to pay 2 life and getting your life dangerously low, then the Sling-gang Lieutenant allows me to sacrifice all the goblins in play to drain the opponent, and might be enough to catch Doomsday before they can finish the game with their Thassa's Oracle. So we're just seeing a Lotus Petal from Dylan into an Ignoble Hierarch, showing the hand with a Thoughtseize. Mindbreak Trap coming out of the sideboard. A very good card against Doomsday, as if they don't have interaction with it, this can actually get past Cavern of Souls, as it is exiling these spells on the stack. It's not countering them. Dylan wisely takes the interaction here. Also, Doomsday, trying to win all at once, is going to cast more than 3 spells in a turn, making that card free. We're seeing a Conspicuous Snoop come into play. Having the setup for the combo there, you see the Harbinger in hand. And we're going to try and go for it. Dylan having a response. A Cut Down is going to destroy target creature with total power and toughness 5 or less. It's only got 4 power and toughness together. So the Harbinger is going to go on the stack and resolve now. Trying to decide what the best course of action is here. Kind of calling Dylan's bluff, deciding to get a Conspicuous Snoop and go for it again. Hoping to have the combo be the win condition here. Although Dylan is casting this Personal Tutor. Personal Tutor putting the Doomsday on top of his deck, searching for a sorcery and getting that into play. Or not into play, but on top of the deck. So we're seeing Conspicuous Snoop being drawn here. 3 damage coming in, going down to 12, and casting the Snoop. But now the Doomsday is drawn. Dylan not super worried about the combo anymore. Dark Ritual into Doomsday, and he says, okay, well, I've got 2 mana in play, so all I need to do is build this hand in such a way that I just win right now. So the only out is if I have some sort of spell that can interact for 2 mana here. Maybe another Mindbreak Trap, maybe a Pyroblast. But Dylan probably has accounted for this as well. Maybe he has a Force of Will in hand. So we will see. You do get to see all of the cards exiled by Doomsday. So taking a look really quick here, kind of process of elimination. Not knowing the exact deck list, but knowing an idea of the list. So there's an Ideas Unbound. This is going to draw Dylan 3 cards out of the 5 left in his deck. Casting a Lotus Petal. Cycling a Street Wraith down to 4. Cycling an Edge of Autumn, which is sacrificing a land to draw a card. Playing his land for the turn, which is Cavern of Souls, into the Thassa's Oracle. And that is the game. Didn't have time to activate that conspicuous snoop. Never got back to the turn. So we're seeing a turn 1 Goblin Lackey and a turn 1 Doomsday. Dylan trying to set up, I think, for a turn 2 win. I think that's only... That's 4 cards there. We saw the Cavern of Souls. Yeah, so he definitely is going to go for a turn 2 here, so at least the Goblin Lackey will be able to connect. Decides to exile. Not taking a look there. Untap, draw a card. Play Mountain Attack. Put another Goblin Lackey into play, looks like. There wasn't too much interaction there on my opening hand. Probably should have kept something a little bit more juiced than that. Lion's Eye Diamond. Sacrifice. Get rid of the hand. Cast the Deep Analysis, draw 2 more cards, draw a land for turn, and that's going to be Thassa's Oracle, which wins the game. Dylan takes it 2-1. So there it is. The combo deck is just really fast sometimes. Doomsday designed to go off as quickly as possible. Sometimes we're winning turn 1, usually winning turn 2. Just a little bit too quick for the Goblin Food Chain deck there. Thanks as always for sticking around, and I want to thank you for coming to the channel, watching the videos, and liking the videos, hopefully. If you haven't already, it would be awesome if you subscribe to the channel. We just hit 500 subscribers yesterday, so very excited about that. If you're interested in these deck lists, they are in the description of this channel, as well as being able to jump straight to the action of the video if you want to. Also, if you're new to the channel, we are streaming these as well. We are going to be moving to a once-a-month commentary. For the rest of the time, the videos will be or the matches rather, will just be streaming on Tuesday nights at 7:30 Pacific Standard Time. Thanks as always to Spellhold Games for allowing us to record at their store. We are very grateful for the game space, and it wouldn't exist without you. And as always, check back soon for more videos here on Tuesday Night Legacy. See you next time.